Hey, what up? What up? Good morning. Good morning. Good morning to you. This is post game sports. Not post game as in after a sporting event, but post game as in low post, mid post, high post, post game sports. What it do? I'm here with my main man Mossberg of Level Up 10 Sports. How you doing this morning, homie?
Feeling pretty good, man. Appreciate you having me first and foremost, man. When you shot the text through, I said, man, I got to get after it. I'm free today. Just got a little interview at one, but outside of that, man, just definitely good to be here this morning and do what we do when we talk about the NFL, man. And just seeing you with that coach hat on, I think it's time to say a few things, and we'll get to that and talk to the people. You see, I'm a Who They fan, big time. So, as you said, man, low post, mid post, high post, post
You
game
did.
sports, man. I
You
appreciate
did. You did. You did. My man. My man. Man, I mean, just another exciting day of football yesterday. Even through the whole week 7 was just nothing but bangers. Uh, I guess we can start with your team, the Bengals, the Thursday night game, man. You had the Steelers 31, the Bengals 33. The Bengals get the job done. I don't think too many people picked them to win the game, but me and you did.
it. Yeah.
I picked the upset. You picked the upset. It was money, a money pick. My thoughts on this game is that I think Jamar Chase is the best receiver in the NFL. I don't think it's close. Uh, can the Steelers improve on that defense, man? Because the Bengals pretty much did what they wanted to do. And the Steelers, they paid a lot of money in the offseason bringing some players in, man, to get the job done. And that defense just hasn't got the job done. Uh, and another question is, who's going to win that division? Is it the Steelers who are currently leading? Is it the Bengals? Can they make a comeback with Joe Flacco? Or can Baltimore surprise everybody? Lamar Jackson get healthy and they make a run. It's a really interesting division, man. What are your thoughts on that particular game? What did you see from your Bengals?
I seen one thing that I really watched was the defense in the secondary, not having Cam Taylor Britt. The defense was shining. Pittsburgh getting points, I think that goes to show our defense as well. We gave up a lot of points, but I seen a lot of progression. Again, we played without Cam Taylor Britt. We had Trey Hendrickson out, but our defense played very, to me, very good. I think, I mean, as much as we brought in with Cam Taylor Britt feeling what he could do at the corner position, I think his time is up in Cincinnati, just me personally, based on the way the defense has been playing. And Hill having a healthy season, Stone kind of setting himself into that position and playing a lot tougher. And then we have Nelson as well. I think it's another one I'm missing, but we also have Nelson. So I think the way the secondary is starting to play, I'm definitely liking the way it looks. And then, not to mention, you said it, Jamar Chase, best receiver in the NFL. I see him. I think when they did the top 100, I think he was ranked number 4 or something like that. I think he's number 1, man. I'm gonna talk my stuff about Chase. He's with Joe Flacco. I think I spoke on WTP Sports Goose about this being the best receiver I think Flacco has thrown and has thrown to in his whole career. So for me, a division is tough. And like you said, Baltimore could rise out of the grave like the Undertaker when Lamar gets back and make a run for it. We've seen teams make that run in this back nine in a football season many times throughout. And for me, I think the way Flacco is playing, having weapons of mass destruction available at his arsenal, I'm taking my Bengals to win the North. After that big win we just got Thursday night, I think it's something in the water. And I know in Cincinnati, that stadium, that water is right outside that stadium. You could feel it, and it's getting to that season where we got some home games to where that water is going to play a part. And just having that crowd noise, having Flacco, Burrow on the sideline. I just think it's a different vibe now. I think that second game, you don't just throw for 300 without having a push and wanting to get this team, in proper playoff position for when Burrow do get back. Who's to say he don't come back sooner? He was itching on the sideline. Chase didn't know he was there. I mean, just some of the things that mount up to that game in this season. I didn't. You asked me without Burrow after 2 weeks, would the Bengals be 3-4? I would say, man, we probably 2-5. Respectively. But having a guy like Flacco, once he came in, I said, I think we can still do this thing. Even when we had, oh man, I feel bad for getting his name. Even when we had the backup in, you know, I still felt we could get to the playoffs. He could get us there, and Burrow could finish it out. But I feel good about Cincinnati. Playoffs, AFC North. Let's do it with the wild card.
Yeah, man, that is going to be a very interesting division, seeing how things play out. You got the Steelers, you got the Bengals, you got Baltimore, like you said, can they rise from the dead? Uh, gonna be real interesting, man. I don't know who's gonna win that division. It's up in the air. The Steelers are on top right now, but like you said, the Bengals are figuring things out with Joe Flacco. Hopefully, they can get Joe Burrow back healthy soon. Let's move to the Patriots and Titans. The Patriots get the job done, of course. I don't think that was a surprise to anybody. They beat the Titans 31-13. Drake May is having his breakout season, as I mentioned on the last stream we did for the NFL recaps. Just a talented young man, and I don't think he even has really a alpha wide receiver to throw to. I know they got Diggs, but I don't believe Diggs is the same player coming off injury.
Yeah,
They got Butte. Butte has been playing well, but I still think they need a dominant one at the wide receiver position. The Titans. My only question is what position? And shout out to Rob, man, WTP Sports dude. I'm not digging on your Titans, but we gotta ask, man. It just is what it is. What position do the Tennessee Titans go after when they have a top three pick in the upcoming draft? Do they get offensive line? Do they get defense? Best player available? What do you think?
man, that's a great question. I never thought about that. Shout out to Drake May and getting New England back on their rightful, ways of, we know what that organization is about when it comes to winning things like that. But like you said, it's a team to watch out for. And when it comes to this Titan, what do they draft? I would say somebody that Cam Ward could get the ball to at the one target when it comes to wide receiver. I think a lot of things when it comes to that offensive alignment, I've seen players go to teams and be studs after maybe not performing as good as they did at the organization that brought them in with a bigger bag or, from leaving the team. Sometimes I think now players are starting to fit with teams that pull them in that off season, that free agent hunt. Um, I think the Titans will be able to get a monster transaction along with this draft. I'm gonna put that out there in the air to fill that offensive line need as well. I think somebody gonna say, Cam, I'm gonna come over here and sign some big money, man. Let's get it rolling. I think some of that stuff need to happen for some of these quarterbacks to reach their next point, especially being young and having the talent they have, especially in Cam Ward. I think they go after a receiver.
Okay, I can see that. Do you think Travion Henderson was overhyped coming into the season? Because he hasn't done anything. It doesn't seem like that regime in New England are they're too anxious to get him touches, get him playing time. Ramondre Stevenson has been toting the rock well outside of his fumbling issues. Do you think Travion Henderson was overhyped coming into the season?
I definitely had my affirmations of hyping him up for sure. That's one thing. And It was preseason. I won't put that to the side, but I still thought he would do great. There was a lot of talk, like you said. I think he was hyped up as we talk about, as they've talked about Arch Manning coming into this year. I think we was looking at the same thing. And Henderson, I mean, respectably, he was playing well, but I think mentioning that, let's see what he do. Let's give him some snaps and see what else could happen with this New England offense. Maybe he get a couple catches out the backfield, be a third down back here and there. Because I would like to see what he could do, during the season. I think you don't just hype a player up like that and he gets no touches. He's not a person that we talk about until today, as we are. So for me, respectively, get out of the young man the ball. He wasn't out there just doing anything for no reason. Have he even got a kickoff return yet? Put him out there. He might bring one home for you in New England. So yeah, just let him touch the ball, see what it could do when it counts. We know what he was able to do at the world famous Ohio State University in those Buckeyes, so let's respectively get that man his touches with this young core they got. And I think a lot of the young cores that's building are starting to grow. And you mentioned May with no weapons. Coming from North Carolina, doing his thing, we gotta respect him, man. So you never
Yeah,
know what could come out of what could happen with having Henderson out there, another weapon for him.
yeah, I'm big on Drake May, man. I think that kid can give it to you rushing and passing.
Yeah,
A lot of upside, and he's proven it. He's breaking out, man. Can the Patriots win the AFC East? They defeated Buffalo already. They're sitting atop of that division so far through the season. Um, I think they can, man. I think New England can win this division. Now coming into the season, you would have asked me this question, I would have said, no way. It's Josh Allen, it's the Bills. What are we talking about?
right.
But man, from what I've seen this far through the season, I think Drake May and New England can get the job done, especially if they're able to beat Buffalo a second time. What say you?
I Man, I'm not going to disagree with you because, like you said, if they got to get over the hump of Buffalo, when you win that first game, you have a different motivation, not just for when you face that team. And then the NFL teams don't look ahead. That's one thing I've been noticing. They come, they play every week, and this New England team is doing just that. They coming in, they playing every week, and I actually looked at that game, and I can't remember if I was on the stream, if I did picks. I was like, man, that's a scary game. Buffalo might get dropped to that game because this New England team right in a different way. Stefan, new energy, and me being a father, I've always noticed. This goes when I've noticed, rest in peace, Kobe. I've noticed with Steph Curry, when you having a kid coming, your game elevate. So I know what you said about Diggs, but just in that game, I thought about that, and maybe we can see something different throughout the rest of the season. With that new beginning coming on the way with him and his wife. So, man, I think New England can do it. I think they can do it. And it's been a lot of talk about Buffalo. I'm not writing Buffalo off at all. Don't let me, let me put that in the air. I'm not writing them off because I did pick them to win this East. And the only team I feel that can't scare them is this New England team. And if New England keep this type of momentum, and Buffalo drop another one, and New England win two. It's getting scary, Larry. And I'm not talking about scary Larry on Gills Arena. We talking about right here on Post Game Sports.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I agree with all that, man. I think, I'll also pick the Bills to win the division, but man, as the facts change, sometimes your opinion got to change, And I like what I've saw from Drake May and even the New England defense, man, holding them to 13 points. I know the Titans aren't world beaters on offense, but
Right.
just it's the NFL, and hopefully Cam Ward and those guys can figure some things out. I really think they need to stop giving Pollard the ball so much and give Spears focus on Tajay Spears at the running back position. But that's just my opinion. Let's move on to Panthers 13, Jets 6, Mossberg. The Panthers have won 3 games in a row quietly. The Jets stink. They're just terrible. They haven't won a game all season. I don't know what's going on. I thought Justin Fields would be able to make a bigger impact on this team. They have not thus far. He has not thus far. I'm starting to think that they're going to bench him. Um, and they just don't look like they just don't look like an NFL team, bro. And if Bryce Young, he went out this game with an ankle. If Bryce Young misses time, can Andy Dalton get the job done? What do you think? Can Andy Dalton get the job done with that
If you
receiver?
if you think about last season, man, shout out to the Carolina Panthers. You know I've been talking my stuff about these Panthers. Not to mention a couple of interceptions Horn got. We see why they gave him big money. The one he got in the end zone, they didn't show it enough. That's top 10. That might be one of the interceptions in history. One of the best ones, the way he snatched that one. So
Yeah,
I think Andy Dalton definitely can keep these Carolina Panthers at bay. I can't think of who they play these next few weeks, even if it's in a division, because he came in, he did a medium. I'm not going to say a medium. He did a good enough job for the Panthers last year for when he did, just being brought in, and he's a veteran. He knows how to win games. He has young weapons, and those receivers and Leggett. You had Jimmy Horn Jr. You have what they call him, TM
T Mac.
McMillan, T Mac, and we not talking McGrady, but this boy could put it in on the football field. I mean, he's doing what he do, man. You gonna ask Andy Dalton to come in here with some young receivers and just throw him the football, man. Similar to what Carson Wentz has been able to do over in Minnesota. So you got to respectably give this Carolina team and their organization the credit to being able to go out and beat and win against all the odds. Nobody's picking Carolina to win week out except their fans and their fan base. So we got to give them credit. So I think Dalton can definitely get the job done and keep them at bay. And Jimmy Horn Jr. also is getting more grabs, not to
Yeah,
mention that defense for Carolina, man.
yeah.
They pay big money and it's paying off.
So if we think about it, you got Tampa Bay, you got Atlanta, New Orleans, and Carolina. Do you think Carolina can make a playoff push?
Three straight. I think what Carolina is. Are they 4-2 or three and can't remember their record. I think in that NFC, the way this NFC been going this year, man, I'm gonna say Carolina can make a push for the playoffs. Why not? Because that's gonna really put the NFL on notice what a year difference makes. Football year
Yeah,
or what a year makes. We was talking
yeah.
about
It
Bryce Young and everything. So
yeah. To me, it all depends on um when Bryce Young comes back from injury. Hopefully, he's not out much, if any. But how he performs. They got the two-headed back at running back now with Hubbard and the other kid. I can't remember his name. What's his
Dale,
name, Moss?
Dowdale, that boy good.
Yeah, Dottle, Rico Dottle. Rico Dottle and Hubbard. I think T Mac is a very promising prospect at wide receiver, along with those other guys at receiver you mentioned, like Leggett and Horn. So man, to me, it's going to depend on the quarterback, man, and if he's able to up his game. Because if he is, I think they have enough talent to make a playoff push. They ain't gonna win the division, but as a wild card, they might be able to sneak in the back door. Saints 14, Bears 26. I believe both of us picked the Bears on the Saturday show.
Yes, sir.
Rattler, Moss.
Yeah, no, I cut out as post game comes back in. You there? talking about Rattler. So for me, I didn't get to see much of the Chicago game. I seen bits and pieces. Just bringing you back in slowly. Your mic is off. But for this one, for me, it was more of just the growth of Caleb Williams. Um, like I said, you think about the game we just talked about with Carolina, and then I think about this one, the young QBs. I think Caleb Williams is starting to just grow into itself.
My bad, man.
Nah, you good.
So Bears 26. Can you hear me?
Yeah, you good.
Okay. Bears 26, Saints 14. Rattler throws three interceptions and was sacked four times. I think at this point, you got to give your first round pick at quarterback, Tyler Shuck, a look. I think Rattler has done some good things this season, but I don't think it's enough. I think at some point you got to give Tyler Shuck a look or two. Uh, if you the Saints, do you keep rolling with Rattler, or are you looking to give Shuck some playing time?
Right. So this the thing about this game is it's funny how we've been on a wave of certain things matching up. Louisville just got a big win. That's where Shaw came from. Get that man in the game. You should have made the move already. So now you get him in the game, and we got to watch who the Saints play this coming week. He might get himself his first career win in the NFL after the Louisville big win last week against Miami. So why not give him a start? I remember watching this kid in an Elite 11 QB. You know, my thing was he's definitely a talent. I could see him playing in the NFL, but I didn't think that his growth would take this long when it comes to certain things. You know, I seen him lose the ball in the pocket, and I think me, you, anybody on the team could have smacked that ball out of his hand. And it's just like they said, no security in the pocket. You know, ball security, and then just you wonder if some people really work on their game, or they just come into the season feeling like since there's nobody to back them up or even a rookie there that they can't get their job done. Tyler Shaw, you should be in the game. Come after the practice group time y'all have this week, and I'm calling it Tuesday. You should be named as a starter for the rest of the season.
I feel that. The Chicago Bears, they play really good defense against the Saints. Uh, Swift, 124 yards rushing, one touchdown. The rookie, Monangai, 81 yards, one touchdown. So I have to ask myself, do the Bears have a two-headed monster at running back, or is it that the Saints defense just suck, especially against the run? I don't know, man. I Swift has looked good at stretches this year. Monangai, this is really his breakout game. I'm going to lean more towards the Saints having a bad run defense, although I think Monangai can get more and more touches and he can be a factor in this backfield. What do you think?
I'm in total agreement. I want to say they have a two-headed monster. I just still want to see it in consecutive weeks. That's my thing. Watching them, I was like, oh, is this a two-headed monster? I said, I got to see it for another week. You know, especially the way Swift has been playing. I mean, he's a great back. Don't get us wrong, but I think too soon for the two-headed monster. But a couple weeks in a row, I'm gonna go ahead and say yeah, because if you get run games out of them 2 weeks in a row, you're talking about a Chicago team that's in a playoff hunt and in a position to possibly win the division as well. So it's a lot of divisions when it come down to the chase wins this past week. Put them in position whether they out one or two games, teams can slip up because if you do, next man up, and they've been on a streak or a row, and it's going to be tough to get to shake them out of that funk. So I think the Chicago team is a team to watch. A lot of growth in Caleb, giving his guys the ball and trusting in what they do. So shout out to that defense as well.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. Colts. My Indianapolis Colts, 38, Chargers, 24. My takeaways from this game, I think everybody has to ask themselves, and it's a serious question. Are the Colts legit Super Bowl contenders? And I'm going to say yes, Moss of Level Up Sports 10. I'm going to say yes. Um, Man, nobody could have convinced me coming into the season that Daniel Jones would play this well. I just, you haven't saw it. You never saw it. And I'm thinking, like, are the Giants just that bad of an organization, or what was it? Because Daniel Jones was like a totally different player. Um,
Hey,
I would ask if the Colts are legit Super Bowl contenders at 6-1. Daniel Jones, 288 yards passing, 2 touchdowns. Jonathan Taylor made Taylor,
man,
99 yards, 3 touchdowns. Who's going to win MVP out of those two? Who's the better candidate for MVP out of those two? I know MVP, they kind of lean more towards the quarterback position, but I'm telling you right now, man, they gotta put some respect on Jonathan Taylor's name, because that dude is absolutely balling.
man. Like,
Uh, Go ahead.
nah, go ahead. You go ahead. These your coach. You can talk your talk, man.
Yes, sir. Again, I wouldn't have never thought they'd be this good coming into the season. But man, Shane Steichen and that offense, even on defense, even though they're banged up in the secondary, that pass rush with Liatu Latu is impressive. And Buckner and those guys, man, I think the Colts are legit Super Bowl contenders, bro. I think you look at the AFC, you look at Kansas City, you look at Indianapolis, who's going to emerge out that AFC North, and that's it, man. I mean, I really like the Colts. Jonathan Taylor getting it done, Daniel Jones getting it done, Tyler Warren getting it done, and even Alec Pierce with Downs out just comes up big. I believe he was the most targeted wide receiver, if I'm not mistaken, in that game. So right now, Moss, who do you think is the better MVP candidate, Jonathan Taylor or Daniel Jones?
Ooh, man. And when ah, you got to put both of them in there. I like Danny, and it was funny because I couldn't think of nothing but when I was texting, I called him Dime Bag Daniel. I mean, he dropping dimes in a bag, and they going right to the end zone, man. And that's all he's doing this year. Jonathan Taylor, I mean, he's putting on a season that you think of Marshall Faulk, you think of, um, man, I can't think of the other back, man. You think of Ward Dunn, Barber, when they catching the ball and just putting forth just effort that you don't see out of a short stature. They putting in work, and I just think you got to put both of them in there respectively. Um, Without Jonathan, Daniel's not able to beat him. He's not able to throw that ball. Without Daniel, Jonathan can't get that ball. He can't get that RPO or that pass out the backfield to receive that to make them yards or whatnot. So I think these are two players that I think met each other at the right time in their career to bring an organization something in shades they haven't seen since you seen Manning and Edgerrin James together. Nobody know who Harrison was until Manning started throwing him the ball. So you gonna know who these coach receivers are by the time the playoffs start. And like you said, they're a Super Bowl threat. You can put them in and schedule Indianapolis Colts in to win the Super Bowl this year. And I don't think any fan, as in you respectably been talking about them all season. Shout out to Allende nephew, WTP Sports Son. He's a big Colts fan, and I know he's jumping around at the university after the big win they had. So respectably, and then I'm watching Baker tonight. If Baker get the win, he still has a front running. But I'm telling you, it's neck to neck for me right now with the MVP. I was talking comeback player of the year, and I think that was in week 4. But here we going in, is what I believe, week 8. This went from comeback to MVP talk. Why not? Top of the AFC, haven't shown no signs of slowing down, haven't shown no weaknesses. If anything, the weaknesses they had, they got through that adversity and won the game. Shout out to your Indianapolis coach, Danny Dimebag Jones, and they doing their thing with Taylor at the running back and that young defense. And once they get healthy, who knows what could take off next? Did they just find the next level of the future of coach football when they come back healthy? Just saying.
Yeah, I like that. Danny Dimebags. He got a lot of nice nicknames,
Yes,
man.
he
Indiana
does.
Jones, Danny Dimebag, Danny
Mm-hmm.
Dimes. It's all good. I'm loving it over here. I'm
Yep.
excited for the Colts, and I really think they can do good things this year.
And real quick,
Giants, go
real quick
ahead.
for your boy and Jones, because a lot of people wrote him off. I know I was one. Allah, man. You found the right organization. They trust. They believe you. They dropped the bag, and that's part of that. Dang it. We can go to the next one. Post. I could go on for hours about your coach and what they're doing this season for sure.
For sure, man. Just impressive, man. I mean, I think when you look at the MVP race thus far, you can talk about Dak, you can talk about Baker, you can talk about Danny, you can talk about Pat Mahomes, you can talk about Jonathan Taylor, Christian McCaffrey. I mean, I know they don't really look at the running backs when it comes to MVP, but I think they need to start. But let's move on. Giants 32, Broncos 33. The Giants led this whole game. Um, Young team, young talent. Jackson Dart looks good. You got Scatterbo looking good. But the Broncos, how impressive was them putting up 33 points in the fourth quarter? Kicked the game winning field goal as time expired. That was extremely impressive. Now you can say, okay, they were getting barbecued the whole game,
Right.
you know, to a young Giants team. And shout out to them, man. They building something special over there in New York.
Right.
But my question to you, Moss, is how impressive was that win? Coming back 33 points in the fourth quarter, bro? Kicking the game winning field goal as time expired. What was your take on that game? Was that impressive to you, or was that bad trailing the game like that to the Giants the whole game?
One thing, man. Shout out to that young Giants team being where they at. A lot of people probably don't even have them winning many games this year. They've already done that. This is impressive by Denver. This is my take. A lot of people been talking, oh, this is the great debacle or whatever happened with New York. Yeah, yeah, you can say what you want. It was at Denver, correct? It was playing in Denver. It was playing in Mile High, so you can't forget they were on the road. And shout out to the Denver team, impressive win. You kept fighting at home. You had your crowd behind you, and that goes to show as well Bo Nick's growth, the trust that the coach have in his team to continue to fight in those players, that defense. And yeah, I would have rushed a player, but at the same time, you never know what's going through the thoughts and minds of these coaches in these situations. So when a momentum changed at that point, and that wasn't nothing you could do on the side of New York. It was pick and choose, and the way it was going, they blitz. They didn't blitz at times, and it still kept Denver. They still stayed in the game. Bo Nix kept doing what he was doing, and man, shout out, like I said, to the coaching staff, and impressive win for Denver to keep themselves in that hunt in that East.
Yeah, interesting game, man. I couldn't believe they came back like that, and to be down, 32 points or whatever it was before they mounted a comeback. Um, in Denver to have the type of defense we all think they have, that's
Mm-hmm.
impressive from that young team. I think Dayball might, even though they lost, I think he might be buying himself some time. I don't think they're gonna fire him this season. with that group of young talent that he's brought in or helped bring in to New York. But let's move on, man. Packers 27, Cardinals 23. My thoughts on this game is I don't think the Packers are as dominant of a team as everyone thought initially. I think coming in after the first couple of games, I thought a lot of people penciled the Packers in as the Super Bowl favorite. And they didn't, Love and those guys, he has some weapons there. I don't think they're as explosive as they should be. I do like that Packers running game. I think that Packers running game is legit. But those receivers, man, you draft a electric player like Golden, I think he should be getting more targets and looks and creating opportunities for him to use his speed.
Yeah.
They aren't doing that. Now they did get the win, but Jacoby Brissett, man, 25 of 36, 279 yards, 2 touchdowns. The thing I like about Jacoby Brissett in a losing effort is that he's targeting his playmakers. I
Playmaker.
know Harrison, he just got back from injury. So he was kind of he really didn't I don't think he was fully healthy this game. But Trey McBride, bro, 13 targets, 10 catches, 74 yards, and 2 touchdowns.
That's
I
good.
think in order for this Cardinals to be successful, you have to get your playmakers the ball, especially those pass catchers. I think the Packers, that NFC North,
Yeah.
if I'm not mistaken, yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, I think they looking good, man. They only have a tie and one loss, the rest wins. I think they can definitely be a contender, but I think they need to get that offense rolling, those particularly those receivers. And think about it. Christian Watson could be coming back real soon. A lot of people forget about him in that wide receiver court. So we'll see what happens. What was your thoughts on this game, man? Do we have a quarterback competition controversy?
Mhm.
Is this Jacoby Brissett's job? He looked really good the last couple weeks, or is this Kyler Murray's job?
Man, is this Jacoby Brissett's coming out party? And the Cardinals always shock the Packers. That's the thing too. You hit on all cylinders. I think we spoke on WTP Sports. We asked this question about, you know, what does this mean for the Cardinals when we seen that change? I like Jacoby Brissett. He's been a great backup his whole career. We can't forget he come from a school in Florida and he has a great resume there. That's why he got drafted to the NFL. Let's not forget that. And that's why quarterbacks like Richardson coming out of Florida gets a job in the NFL, even though he's on the bench. Think of Jacoby Brissett, players like that. So I think his job is definitely in jeopardy. You target McBride 13 times. Not to mention, like you said, targets to Harrison, even though coming back from injury. So guess what? Next week he's going to find him even more, target him more, seeing what it could have been, and then winning effort to him. He feel, just getting out there, second time starting. So, and for me, Green Bay, if they pass and game catch up, and I look at it as Love Golden watching Watson. You know, they watch what Watson can do and how good he could be. Now, watching Watson is Watson watching what y'all can do. And when he get back, I think it's going to be different in Green Bay. And I think their offense, the air attack meets half of the running attack. I think we'll think the air and attack is just to another level. And that's just something to see in Green Bay. Like you said, he find Golden more. They set some plays up for him more. He could be something special, like we're seeing in Kansas City over there for Worthy. So we know what Texas produce, and we've been seeing it these last few years in the NFL. They've been producing some monsters. So there's going to be a lot of talk about these wide receiver use in the next 5 years. Now we see what Texas is being able to produce and bring to the NFL side of football. So Green Bay slipped away and got one, but don't be lucky if you play like that again and you lose one, because Arizona almost got you.
For sure, for sure. Commanders 22, Cowboys 44. Dak Prescott goes 21 of 30, 264 yards, three touchdowns. We saw the return of C.D. Lamb. I love C.D. Lamb's game. My thoughts are this, Moss. Can Dak Prescott keep his name in that MVP race? Can he keep his name afloat in that MVP race? Because I feel like nobody in the league is playing better at quarterback than Dak Prescott thus far. But the problem is that defense. That defense is very suspect. He has to drag them along. But as of right now, Dak Prescott is playing great ball. And I don't know how many wins they can continue to rack up with having a suspect defense like that. Uh, can they continue to win with a defense like that? What's your thoughts on this game, man? And also, um, the quarterback from Washington. What's my man name? I forget his
Jaden
name.
Daniels.
Jaden Daniels. I'm tripping.
You all right?
Jaden Daniels goes out with a hamstring, I believe, into Marcus Mariota. So I hope he gets back healthy and is able to ball out. That Commanders defense has been suspect as well. We talk about suspect defenses. So, what was your thoughts on this game, and where do you have Dak when it comes to the MVP race?
The funny thing, Dak is Daking, but I haven't even thought of him in the MVP race because for me, it's like you got this great offense. Offense sell the tickets, but the defense win championships, and Dallas don't have any. So, I mean, they winning games. Don't get me wrong. So they're playing the defense. It's just not the defense that we used to seeing when you winning games. And Dallas are they 3-3. So what we seeing out of Dak and they talking MVP. What if the Cowboys lose a game? What if he throw a couple interceptions? What if the Cowboys lose two games? What's the thoughts then? Is this the same old Dak, or is this the Cowboys just going through something? So, respectably, they're playing great at the 500 mark where they sit. Dak is playing some great football. Can't deny it. But when you think about Mayfield, you think about Jones, you think about weapons that nobody have no clue about. So you get CD, you get Pickens. These are things you better be doing. And that's my thought. That's just me. When you have these weapons, they gave you Pickens to go along with CD Lamb. So can y'all keep this thing rolling? Because I did write y'all off for not getting the playoffs since y'all got rid of Michael Parsons. So I'm still waiting to see how that trickles out. And y'all haven't faced no adversity this year. So for me, I just want to see Dak, of course, continue his season. I want him to be able to face that adversity and be that leader and prove all the odds that's against you when it comes to winning the big games, getting to the playoffs, getting over the hump. That's just my type of, thing as well. Outside of that, CD Lamb, that catch, that run, scary things could happen in Jones world, as they call it.
Yeah, for sure, man. I even like the Javante Williams, man, running back. Man, what a steal he was for the Cowboys.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people wrote him off. Coming back from the injury, he didn't look the same with the Broncos. He goes to Dallas. He's RB1, and he's been playing really well. So we'll see if Dallas can make the playoffs and make some noise having a suspect defense. That defense looks terrible, bro. But hopefully they can shape it up because that offense is elite.
Elite, yeah, definitely.
Falcons 10, 49ers 20, Sunday night game. It wasn't much to see here, bro. Christian McCaffrey had a monster game, 129 yards rushing, two touchdowns. He had 7 catches and 72 yards receiving to that. And my only take on this game is, are the Falcons relying too heavily on Bijan Robinson? I don't think they gave my guy Drizzy Drake London the ball enough. He did have 10 targets, but you got to figure out a way to scheme him open and get him more looks so he can be successful down the field. Um, I think their quarterback. Uh, I think he showed he showed his experience. I think he held the ball too long in some instances. I don't think he played well. But the Falcons, are they relying too heavily on Bijan Robinson? What say you?
I agree. Um, too heavily, and you don't have to force feed. You don't have to force feed, especially when you got a young quarterback, as we've seen some teams do. They don't force feed in order for that offense to start moving. When you and we got to think about some of the quarterbacks being brought into a position to where you got mass weapons of destruction. You got London, you got Pitts, you got Bijan Robinson. I'm sorry, I can't remember the other receiver. You have another weapon as well. You have to, you have to just jump into that playbook. You got to sit down. You got to be still. You got to learn and you got to connect. Hit the guys up on the conference. I don't know, Post. Sometimes I think about a lot of players and they they fight they preparation. What are you doing to make it to get yourself better? Are you building these relationships with your players outside of work? Are you hitting each other up through the week? We group text and we pick with each other every day up until we literally our eyes bloodshot red. And I think that's where we come together so much. So that's what I'm questioning in this Atlanta organization and this team. Are y'all taking that time out? Because London can be gone tomorrow. So you better be careful because it's teams that's already looking at the specimen that he could be for them. So that's a great question. I think they definitely are feeding Bijan too much. Not that he's not great, but you got to let everybody get a little bit of that pie so everybody can get full and enjoy Sunday dinner because that turkey leg is always waiting.
Especially at Big Mama's house.
Yes, sir.
Uh, you dig. Rams 35, Jaguars 7. Last game on the slate. London game. Jaguars, that's their second home. The Rams just come in and barbecue the Jaguars, bro. 35-7. I mean, defense played well. No Puka Nakua, no problem. Devontae Adams, 5 catches, 3 touchdowns. Brian Thomas, bro, he's been struggling with drops as of late.
Yeah.
And Travis Hunter had a breakout game. Do you think Travis Hunter is going to emerge as the top receiver for this team, for Trevor Lawrence, seeing as though how Brian Thomas has been struggling? And the draft capital used to acquire Travis Hunter. Do you think Travis Hunter is now wide receiver one in Jacksonville?
I like your take on that. I think you give him a shot at wide receiver one. You continue to pluck away at this season, and Brian Thomas, he got to step up. That may make him do that, but guess what? Also, we know Travis plays both sides of the ball, so Jacksonville is already cooking and looking to see what possibility they could bring in on the cornerback position in the offseason. I guarantee it. And guess who will still be playing defense at a nickel position and be much more athletic and able to be free? Travis Hunter. With an IQ of his, wide receiver one, nickel, playing all over the field, and cornerback because his IQ is one of a kind. I think the writing's on the wall for him in Jacksonville. He's at home. He's in home in Florida, doing what he loved to do, and he got all the support. So shout out to what he's doing as well, man. Um, Thomas, I think no disrespect, but you gotta make them catches. That's what they got you there for. That's what they put that money out there for. And there was a question on Travis's end. So he's doing what he need to do to step up to that position. And hey, who knows if they go grab another receiver in the offseason? The trade deadline is slowly but quickly approaching.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I think we got to talk about Matthew Stafford. You know, as the season progresses in that MVP race.
Yes,
It's
sir.
going to be really interesting to see how that race unfolds and how it plays out because there's some ballers this year, man. We mentioned Christian McCaffrey, we mentioned Matthew Stafford, Indiana Jones, Dimebag Jones, Jonathan
Sir.
Taylor, Baker Mayfield. Man, it's a lot of Pat Mahomes, Rasheed Rice coming back, bro. I tried to tell people they didn't want to hear me. Rasheed Rice is the best wide receiver for Kansas City, bro. And parlaying that with Mahomes and Worthy and Kelsey, man, that team, that offense is going to be a juggernaut,
Yeah.
and it's going to be exciting to see for the rest of the season. And then that's all the games I got. You got any closing thoughts?
Man, like you said, I think the season is just getting started. It's crazy to say that because if you think about throughout the injuries we've had in the early season, of course we can, you know, we want to wish everybody well and speedy recovery first and foremost. But I think at this point, through the injuries, couple weeks, teams being set and where they at, deadline approaching with the trades, this is where it's going to get fun. And we can really start to look at things, the possibilities, points when it comes down to playoffs, all that. So I'm definitely tuned in, man. And shout out to your coach, man. Top of the AFC. And I'm not talking about any division. I'm talking about the whole AFC. And I
Oh yeah,
believe the whole NFL, if I'm not
yeah,
mistaken, post game. So
yeah.
make sure you wear. I know that's a Coach hoodie. Put your Coach hoodie on, your Coach socks, everything Coach throughout the week, man. You should enjoy it, man. I can remember when my Bengals was at this point during our Super Bowl run. And I think it's something in that water for y'all. So that's all I got to say, man. And it's always a pleasure to be on, man. And I appreciate you having me this morning into the afternoon as well.
Well, hold on, because I missed some games. My bad.
Yep.
We got three more games to run through. Raiders 0, Chiefs 31. We were just talking about Pat Mahomes and the return of Rasheed Rice. Rasheed Rice had 10 targets, 2 touchdowns, bro. That dude's a baller. But one of the things I took away from this game is that Brashard Smith, rookie running back for the Chiefs, has started to get more and more involved, bro. He has some good rushing yards and he got a lot of passing yard work. He got some passing down work.
Yep.
So it's gonna be exciting, man. This Chiefs offense is gonna be super explosive, bro.
It's gonna
Coming
be,
down the stretch. What were your thoughts? 31-0. The Chiefs get a goose egg on the Raiders.
and that's Smith from Missouri, I believe. One of them running backs from out of the SEC from Missouri. I've always liked this game. I believe he had 24 at Missouri. Short, scatterback, do amazing things. They getting it rolling. Didn't really mention nothing about this. I seen the blowout. My dad didn't really have much to say in the group text because we was picking with him about his Trojans, and then he ain't had nothing to say about the Sunday slate. So the Las Vegas organization got to figure something out because I know the fan base is not happy. Um, I'm not for sure if it's injuries or what's going on, but you brought Geno in with a bag. You need to fill that bag with some touchdowns because I like him. I believe in him, but I don't know what's going on in Las Vegas. But the Chiefs said, we're going to come in, we're going to shut you out, and we're going to keep our push and try to get to their Super Bowl because that's my thoughts on what they're trying to do.
Oh, for sure. Dolphins 6, Browns 31. I mean, I mentioned the T1 on the stream Sunday morning that I felt like the Browns could get the job done by playing their great defense and running the ball with Juckins. Juckins had 84 yards rushing and 3 touchdowns. He hit pay dirt 3 times. Uh, 2 or 3 interceptions. Is it time for the Dolphins to bench Tua? We saw Quint Ewers get some playing time. What do you think? Do you think Mike McDaniels could potentially be fired this week?
And there's a lot of things I was thinking about this game. Shout out to T1 and his Browns for getting a big win. I was going to actually pick them this week. It's a lot of turmoil going in Miami, and it ain't sunny. That's one thing for sure. It's cold in Miami. Every part is warm except this one. Oh, I forgot in Dope Campbell too. We'll get to that later this week. But Cleveland, as they said, feed Junkins, you get a win. It's that simple. I said put Shador in, you get a win. But it's good to see that Junkins is getting fed and he's providing the type of rushing yards, but energy as well. And then we see what Miles and that defense is always doing. Tua, McDaniels, one get benched, one get fired. I'm gonna leave that week alone, and that's how I see that week going. Fired, benched, new doings in Miami. We got to roll with Quinn and see what's going on. It's that time of the year where if you're a certain organizations, you got to make these moves to see what you brought in, why you brought it in, because we never know. Next year, at this point, it could be players getting traded, and again, coaches getting fired.
I'm with it. Eagles 38, Vikings 22. Wentz three over 300 yards passing, but he has two picks. And I'm starting to wonder, should Minnesota have done whatever they need to do to keep Sam Darnold in that building, or even Danny Dimes, Indiana Jones now? Uh, that's something to think about for the people. Barkley 44 yards rushing. It just seems to me, after having that humongous year last year, he just doesn't have the juice in his legs anymore. And I'm be really interested to see if they can get Barkley going and get him back in rare form. Hurts back in MVP form, bro. 326 yards passing, three touchdowns. What was your thoughts on that Eagles Vikings game?
The one thing about this, because I was on my way to dinner, and my brother, he's a big Eagles fan, so we was listening to the remainder of it. I think that last couple of drives on the way to dinner. So, his thoughts was, man, why do they get in these type of games? They must like these type of games where they grinding it out. For me, like you said, 44 rushing yards last year was a fluke. I'm gonna put that out there, and I'm gonna just say that, and I'm gonna say it's a fluke because when you have a season like that, it's not gonna be back to back when you have the type of weapons you have. So, well, let me take that back. I'm not gonna call it a fluke. It's just not the type of season you could expect to have again when you have weapons and a quarterback that you have in Hurts. And like you said, over 300 yards passing. Who cares about the 44 yards? Because they still have to plan for you. They can't stop sitting in that box because you could bust one at any time. So I do apologize, Philly, Saquon, for calling it a fluke. It just goes to show the variety of weapons that you have at your disposal on that offense. And like I said, having a quarterback. So, yeah, he hasn't performed the same way, but what do the Eagles have at backup running back? That's my thought. So you have to feed this man. If teams have already planned to stop that, it's only going to be a time where it happens, where he go for a buck 50, or he might hit 200. We just don't know. So, a la we seen Jordan Love, shout out to your boy, and they big win getting over 200 over the weekend. I had to send that one to you. Outside of that, I don't know. Eagles is winning. They won the Super Bowl last year. Can't take nothing away from them. They winning games at the end of the day, week in, week out.
Yeah, for sure, bro. I'm starting to think Saquon is a little washed though. I hate to say that because I love him, but he just don't look the same, man.
Like you did last
I,
year.
yeah, absolutely. Well, that's all I got. Thanks for joining us. Shout out to the homie Mossberg, Level Up Sports 10. Go ahead and subscribe to that, man. Subscribe to Post Game. Hit that like button. Give us a comment. Let us know what y'all thought about the run through this week. We appreciate y'all joining. We appreciate y'all support. And like always, we out of here. Peace.
Peace.